Jacinda Ardern.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. It's my pleasure to rise to speak to elements of the appropriations which relate to the justice sector. I want to start, though, Mr. Speaker, by just making a general statement about the government's aspirations generally when it's come to the appropriations and their budgets generally. We have heard repeatedly from this government that their goal is to reach surplus in the upcoming budgets. We've heard it repeatedly. Only recently has the goal of reaching surplus been removed. I don't think it's fair, though, for the government, having said that that was their priority, having said that there was their promise, to now claim that it was an artificial target and to back away from it altogether. Mr. Speaker, the public place their trust in the governments they elect. They don't get to walk away from promises that they make in such loose terms simply because it's a target that they couldn't reach. They must take responsibility for when they fail as often as they take responsibility when they succeed. And in that regard, Mr. Speaker, I want to speak to some of the massive failings that we have seen in the justice system. Clearly, in the past few budgets, the appropriations for the police have been blatantly inadequate. Now, I know that our police spokesperson will speak to this, but you cannot run a well-functioning justice system with early intervention and prevention as a priority and at the same time cut $40 million from the police budget. We are seeing stations close. We are seeing police who are no longer able to employ the same level of support staff. We are seeing police no longer attending call-outs. And Mr. Bakshi is listening to this because he knows because members from his community have been raising this with Labor frequently, and I know they will have been raising it with him. It's not true. So the communities are safer, are you saying, Mr. Bakshi? Well, I will send some of those individuals back to see you if you're making that claim, because that could not be further from the truth. Crime reporting is dependent on people raising with the police when they have been the victim of a crime. Now, if the police do not attend, it becomes a self-fulfilling prophecy, and the minister said when I raised it in Select Committee that it was a very 1990s view. It's not a 1990s view, it's a reality today. And at the same time, it is an indictment, Mr. Speaker, that this government's main target when it comes to justice is to reduce reoffending. What about reducing offending, Mr. Speaker? What about reducing the incarceration rate in this country? Because as much as that government claims that crime is coming down, incarceration rates certainly aren't. In fact, they are in the middle of opening their mega prison, their mega private prison at Whitty. And you can bet your bottom dollar that we are contracted to keep that place full. And who benefits from that? Nobody but a foreign company under the banner of Serco. That is an indictment on this country, as, Mr. Speaker, is our access to justice issues generally. Now, Mr. Speaker, you might claim that big cases like, for instance, the Tainapora case, which the Minister of Justice claimed demonstrated that our justice system worked, was in fact the exact opposite. Real justice is timely justice. And that delay in that case was not timely justice. What we should be considering as a parliament is an independent criminal case review commission, and it is something that we as a Labour Party will continue to champion. As we will continue to champion the issue that was raised in Select Committee, the last time we had the ability to review the Ministry of Justice was legal aid thresholds. Mr. Speaker, it is a bureaucratic roundabout when 10,000 people are granted legal aid write-offs because they cannot afford to repay their legal aid debt. That is an indication to the Minister that something must change, and that's what we're pushing for. Mr. Speaker, I want to finish with a final plea. Protection orders in this country should be free. They are not. A woman who is in a violent relationship, who may have equity in a home that the perpetrator of that violence shares the equity in, cannot access a free protection order. That is wrong. I call on the Minister in her address to this House to acknowledge that issue and to acknowledge that she's going to do something about it. Because if we can afford nothing in this country, we should be able to afford protection for victims of family and domestic violence.